I'll begin by saying my bicycle ride felt like lead this morning. My Aero water container was making so much noise I didn't hear the tire rubbing against the brake pad, and I rode with that all day. So anyway, I wanted to get back and do a little addendum on my Marathon Public Library story, because although I told it, there are things I left out, and I'm certainly not going to go through it again, but I'm going to start with, as the child was, if you want to pick up on this, just look at the video I did yesterday. So as this single-digit age child was berating her father publicly for everybody in the library to hear over the phone, and it just got worse and worse. I'm not going to say where it came from, but it didn't come from that kid. And whoever gave it to her, that's child abuse. That's number one, child abuse. So I'm cringing every time I hear it. It's just painful as a father, but also as a parent, knowing what it's done to that kid, putting such hate in that kid. So I sat there cringing, and finally, and here's a little addendum. If it was a 13 or 14-year-old girl in that similar situation, I probably would have said, hey kid, if you're going to fight with your parents, take it outside, and of course the librarian wouldn't have, this child was younger and more under the librarian's umbrella. So naturally the thing I did was I said, this is real, and I was very close to them, within 6 feet. I said, this is really disturbing me, to the librarian. And she lashed out at me and told me she'll decide what's disturbing or not. And you know why she lashed out at me? Because I interrupted her hate fetish. As I was sitting there cringing over what this child was saying to her father, she was giving the kid non-verbal affirmation cues and getting off on it in some way. That's why she was mad at me, because she was in a fetish over it. That's how much she enjoyed watching a child yell at her father. And I'm not kidding, folks. I've reviewed this. I don't just say things out of the blue. It's abhorrent behavior. It's abhorrent. But it can spin on you, because Knucklehead, what's his name? I called him. Everybody in the library knew I was right, but Knucklehead wanted to defend somebody. I don't know. Tommy, what did I call him? Tommy, testosterone, two beer. He just wanted to fight, is what he wanted, or throw his weight around. And I think that was probably my only mistake, was how I dealt with him. But frankly, this is the problem. I think I dealt with him just fine by saying, if he follows me out of the library, please call the police. But I could have acquiesced to anything the guy said and let him have the driver's seat, except one thing. He wanted me to shut up. And there's no non-official authority. That guy has no business shutting me up. That's somebody else's job. That might be law enforcement's job. Of course it would be. And I'd shut up. But that guy, he doesn't get a shut up out of me. So that was my mistake there. But the real atrocity was Blue Hair's outlook on life. I'm thinking, is she like a woman that, and I'm not kidding, that sits home and watches Rachel Maddow and then jabs herself with her fork to feel alive? I'm not pulling any punches anymore. You women have to start defending us against these women. You women have to start fixing your own, because you're blowing it too. When you let this stuff get out in the lead of you, it's horrible. And I see it everywhere. It's not. I'm not writing this because I don't see the hatred and anger towards men in the local liberal community. I see it in the grocery store without saying hello to somebody. I see it. And I see the other side of the coin too, where you get a wink from 50 feet away, But this kind of stuff, that woman, she shouldn't be working with children. She wouldn't work with my kid. Absolutely not. You know why? And I'll tell you why. Because it's people like her that Parents will come into school with an agenda for their child, and that thing, that creature, will decide that she doesn't like the agenda that the parents have for their own child, and she'll just decide what's better for your kid. You want that? I had a friend like that once. High school teacher. Best friend, one of the smartest guys I knew. He went down a dark path. What can I tell you? He had 3 strikes with me. But I threw a lobster at him one time. That was the pinnacle of our first bout. And the second time we just don't talk anymore. It was good. I got to tell you a quick one. You know, when you're married and you're about 30-ish, and you go over your buddy's house. He's about 35, and he just married his high school sweetheart. Although his high school sweetheart was his chemistry student. So, and when I go to his house, and I got no problem with that, she was out of school. But when I go to the guy's house and he calls me and my 30-year-old wife kids, that was strike one against Harry. So, you know, anyway, he's a bum. But, so listen, I just wanted to share that. I have the right to speak. I'm going to be heard until the haters lose their ability to bullshit you into hating me. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk through them to you. On a bigger scale, I'll be cryptic for a second. There's a lot of things against freedom right now with the internet. And, I mean, we've never had this many things against us before. So I don't know what it's going to take. I don't think it'll take less than a family party and a discussion at the family level, because the government's tearing the family apart. And what's more important, the government or your family? You know? So watch out for yourselves. We need to get families together from all races, you know, and talk about what's important for the family. Let them bicker. Let them bicker. But then they're going to find out who their real friends are. And it ain't the people who are pushing their buttons every day. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thanks. Bye.